Hey!
United 2, Everton 2 is how it finished in that tie. This one, Bruno Fernandes had to say after the game he's not happy. We didn't want to finish this way. Our performance wasn't the best and we were a little bit lazy today. We want to avoid that because with laziness, you can pay at any moment. Hopefully, we can add one or two more players.
What?
Robbo, what do you make of a teammate coming out and saying that we need more players?
As long as he was talking about himself as well, he's talking about a we rather than they. He's the skipper. He's the player. He's the person that can be truthful. Sometimes the truth doesn't always help the team. We heard the manager last season keep telling the truth. They were a poor side and they didn't do this and they didn't do that. It didn't inspire them. I'm not sure that Bruno Fernandes is inspiring the other players at the moment by calling them lazy and saying that we need to be better. They obviously need to be better. They've needed to be better for 2 or 3 years. At the moment, Manchester United need every confidence they can muster. They've got to get players playing at their very best. They've got to get the best out of the 2 new players that come in. They've got to get the best out of every player that's at Manchester United. And they're going to have to work hard. They're going to have to be disciplined. They're going to have to take on board what the manager wants. But I can't see it's going to help Manchester United too much by Bruno Fernandes calling the players lazy in the last pre-season game.
Isn't this what we've been calling for, Stevie? Someone to be a leader within the dressing room, to take that responsibility, to tell these players, to shape them, to get them back into some sort of a gear?
Yes, but you just said it, in the dressing room. Right. Not in public, not in the media. Absolutely not. You know, when you're a player and you're asked, whether you're a senior player, the captain or whatever, when you're asked about signings or bringing players in, you don't even answer. It's nothing to do with you. You just bat it away. So no criticism in the media by anybody to their own players or any part of the club is acceptable. If you've got a problem, if you've got something to say, then you do it inside the dressing room or in the appropriate place, the boardroom, whatever it may be. But you don't do it in the media. It's 100% a no-no.
I'm willing to accept, barely, but I'm willing to accept that Bruno Fernandes is in a position in which he can address the performance of the team and say, we were lazy today. Fine. That's your assessment of the game. That's your evaluation of the game. So be it. But when you take it as far as we need 1 or more 2 players or whatever the amount of players that they need, now you're taking on a role that is not your responsibility. Now you're taking on a role of somebody who apparently has all the answers as to what's wrong with this club and do what I tell you, and we're going to move forward and we're actually going to do the things that we need to do and be successful because I came up with these thoughts and these ideas. That's when he's crossing a line, in my estimation. Look, you want to assess the team, evaluate the team and say you were lazy? Well, so be it. But those players that you're referring to as lazy, quote unquote, and then those players that you're suggesting need to be substituted by the 1 or 2 players that need to be signed, those are the guys that you need to be talking to, not to us to tell you that we need more help. I think we can all understand that they need help, but it's not his place to be doing that.
Taking a look at its final comment, of course, that 1 or 2 players are needed, Gab. Sesko. Why did you make that noise?
Because we've been talking about Benjamin Sesko far too long.
Apparently has shown willing to go to Newcastle and Manchester United, Gab.
Yeah, I think he's kind of been at Leipzig long enough, and that's kind of his view, and he feels he's ready for the next step. And when you get such a veiled endorsement from Manchester United. Director of football, head of recruitment, Bruno Fernandes. No, I'm kidding. This is what they're working on. They're talking about some sort of swap deal involving Rasmus Højlund. I won't bore you by bringing up amortization again, but I think it's difficult for United because they're going to take a hit on this unless they can, really get a high valuation for Højlund in this deal, which then creates issues for Sesko the other way. I think Leipzig would take Højlund as kind of like a reclamation project. The thing about Sesko is he has this incredible skill set where he's tall, but he's also very athletic, and technically he's good. He's coming off a nightmare season. Can he lead the line on his own as a young player, at Old Trafford in a team that needs to bounce back? I don't know. It's a big ask. He would need a lot of support from the players around him, and of course from his coach. But clearly he's an upgrade over what they have.
Robbo, as painful as your knee surgery's been, it can't have been as painful as talking about Benjamin Sesko as we had for the last month. Are you surprised that a player of his quality is getting this much attention?
A little bit. I mean, he's a good player, and Gav just said he's got all the attributes to be an excellent player. But at the moment, he's not an excellent player. He's a good player. So I'm surprised that so many people have been interested in him. You know, he did score goals last year. He led the line quite well, but he often had other players in good support of him. I don't think, and Gab's question was, would he be good enough for Manchester United to lead the line and take all the responsibility? I would say probably not. So it wouldn't be, I don't think it'd be an absolutely great signing for Manchester United if they got him.
Right then, let's talk about what happened after that shocking 2-0 defeat to Everton in pre-season. Because our skipper Bruno Fernandes didn't hold back, did he? The Portuguese midfielder came out swinging, calling the team's performance lazy and openly saying we need to add 1 or 2 more players. Now, as much as it hurts to hear, the lad's not wrong about the performance. We were absolutely dreadful against a relegation-battling Everton side. But here's where it gets interesting and frankly, a bit uncomfortable for us United fans. Bruno's gone public with what should probably stay in the dressing room. Yes, we want leaders. We want someone to grab this team by the scruff of the neck and shake some sense into them. But when your captain's basically telling the world that half the squad isn't good enough and we need reinforcements, you gotta wonder if that's the right approach. Look, if you're enjoying this honest take on what's happening at our club, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon, because we're not here to sugarcoat anything. We're here to tell it like it is, just like you'd hear it from your mates at the pub. We need more United fans having these real conversations about where our club's heading. The thing is, Bruno's absolutely spot on about needing more quality. We've all been screaming for proper signings for months, haven't we? The Benjamin Sesko links are still doing the rounds, with talk of a potential swap involving Rasmus Højlund, though whether that actually improves us is anyone's guess. The lad's got potential, sure, but can he handle the pressure of leading the line at Old Trafford when we're desperate for goals? That's a massive gamble. What's really getting under my skin here is the timing. This is pre-season, for crying out loud. The time when you're supposed to be building confidence, getting the lads believing they can take on the world. Instead, our captain's publicly calling them lazy and basically saying they're not good enough. How's that going to help Mount's confidence when he's constantly battling injuries? Or the young lads who are trying to establish themselves? These players need lifting up, not being thrown under the bus in front of the cameras. Don't get me wrong, I'd rather have a captain who tells the truth than one who spouts the usual "we go again" nonsense after every disappointing result. But there's a difference between accountability and just hanging your teammates out to dry. You handle this stuff behind closed doors. You drag the lads into a corner and let them have it where the media can't hear. The reality is we do need more players. We need a proper striker who can guarantee 20-plus goals. We need midfield depth that doesn't make you want to hide behind the sofa. And we need defenders who don't treat defending like it's optional. But having your captain basically do the sporting director's job in a press conference, that's not the United way, is it? What worries me most is what this says about the dressing room atmosphere. If Bruno feels he needs to go public like this, what's really going on behind the scenes? Are the players not listening? Is Amorim not getting his message across? Because if our captain feels his only option is to call out the team through the media, which we might have bigger problems than just needing a couple more signings, it's important to remember the context here as well. We've just had the worst season in our modern history, finishing 15th in the Premier League, an absolute shambles. We lost the Europa League final to Tottenham and missed out on European competitions for the first time since 2014-15. Amorim's in his first full preseason trying to rebuild this disaster, and it's no easy task. So what do you lot think? Is Bruno right to be this brutally honest? Or should he be keeping these conversations private? Are we being too hopeful thinking a couple of new faces will fix everything? Or is the captain just saying what we've all been thinking?